So thank you everybody for tuning in to our February PechaKucha Talk of the Lehigh Valley. We've got a wonderful session tonight with a lot of great information from our guest speaker, but a few housekeeping things that I should tell you. I'm really excited, but I do have to leave at 6:30 today because I'm gonna get my first dose for the vaccine. So I've got Jarson here that will be stepping up to be our wonderful co-host, and she will be leading our Q&A session when I have to leave. So everything should be all good and set to go. So welcome again. I want to introduce our guest speaker, Yasunari Matsuura-san. He is our special guest tuning in from Japan. He's a managing director and from Global Arc Consulting and an adjunct professor at the Graduate School of Management of Kyoto University. And he's got over 25 years of experience, and he's going to be sharing with us what that experience has entailed in terms of how his global mindset has been a lifelong process of shaping. So he's a wonderful resource today, and I'm so glad that we're all here together. All right, well, maybe Matsuura-san, you want to share your screen and get our
Okay.
presentation started?
Yep. Hey, good morning, everyone. I mean, good morning from Japan time. It's 8:15 now here in Japan. I'm joining from Hyogo Prefecture, but we live at the border with Osaka Prefecture, very eastern side. I'm Yasunari Matsuura, and it's my honor to come here and get invited to Lehigh JAJAJA Pecha Talk. Miki and I have known for each other for like a few years, and she invited me to this great gathering. So, I just thought, okay, yeah, I'll do some presentation. Right. I'm going to talk about the global mindset and how to acquire it in the next, hopefully, 20-25 minutes. And then we get into the Q&A session or just a general discussion. That's me, and I'm wearing the same sweater today. I've been involved with, I'm an independent management consultant, and I also work as adjunct professor at Kyoto University, and also I've been involved with Lehigh's Global Village program in the last 15, 16 years. Ayako-san with a baby, she was an intern a few years ago, and Rika was chosen as an intern last year, although she couldn't make it to Lehigh Valley because of the COVID. But hopefully she's you all get to see her in person this summer. Well, about the global mindset, last December I took this test called the Global Mindset Inventory. It's a web-based 10-minute test with 76 multiple choice questions. This is a test developed by Thunderbird Global Mindset Institute researchers, and it's a scientifically proven test to measure the level of your global mindset. So I just wanted to try it out. The global mindset. Well, the definition of it is the set of individual qualities and attributes that help a manager influence individuals, groups, and organizations who are from other parts of the world. So basically, it's the set of mindset, set of skills, and capabilities that you need to have in order to be able to lead in the global setting. Whether be it a business or non-profit or government institutions. Okay. So I took the test, but the test measures the three capitals. The global mindset by the Thunderbird researchers. Well, this is the book of the global mindset. It's a thick book, but it's easy to read. It's very comprehensive, but it asserts there are three capitals that make the global mindset: global intellectual capital, global psychological capital, and the global social capital. Basically, how much you know about the international factors, or how much you feel, or about the global factors, and how and what kind of connections or people factors you have as your capital or your assets. Each capital consists of three capabilities or competencies, so-called. Global intellectual capital consists of global business savvy, cosmopolitan outlook, and the cognitive complexity. Global psychological capital consists of passion for diversity, quest for adventure, and self-assurance or self-confidence. Okay? Global social capital consists of intercultural empathy, interpersonal impact, and diplomacy. So this GMI test just measured my capabilities and all that by just simply answering the 76 questions. So what did I get? Oh no, hold on. Before getting to that, why do we need this global mindset? Why is it so important? Um, well, because that's what the world really is. The world population is now 7.8 billion. Okay, 195 nations. That's 193 members of the United Nations plus Vatican and the Palestine region as non-official observers, and 650 ethnic groups. Now, this number really varies depending on what you look at. Some say there are 3,000 ethnic groups, but probably 650 would be roughly right. But there are 6,500 languages in the world. So the world already is diverse, right? That's why we need to have that as our fundamental concept. So global mindset is really important in order to live in the globalized world today. Turning our eyes to the business-wise, in 2018, the U.S. was the largest exporter of commercial services in the world. It was the second largest exporter of goods in the world, right? Many probably are, iPhones, but the world's leader in foreign direct investment, FDI, into other countries and regions. Now, Japan is being the world #2 in FDI, right? Of course, in terms of export, China is really big, but already US has got lots of imports and exports. So and even universities, Lehigh has got lots of incoming students and outgoing students, and it doesn't really, this globalization isn't limited to these commercial activities, but also other non-profit activities. So we're all surrounded by this thing called global, right? So I thought it's important to take the test, and here's the result. Okay, I got all higher scores for intellectual capital, psychological capital, and the social capital. Hooray! I got high scores, right, than or the average of the world, right? Then I wondered, okay, I've been working outside Japan for a number of years, but how did I manage to do that? I kind of expected that, okay, I may get not bad scores, but where, when, and how did I develop my global mindset? So I looked back in my half-life and see what are these global situations or environments I was in. Okay, I had to do that because this is where I was born. Okay, it's called the Umaki village. Uma is horse, ki is tree. Okay, so it's a real deep in the countryside in Hiroshima Prefecture. Okay, my house was 360 degrees surrounded by rice paddies. Frogs everywhere, snakes everywhere, no running water, no running toilet. We were using well, to for drinking water, right? So this is the last place you would expect a global person to come out from, right? Now this is the picture of today. I just got it from the Google map, right? So it hasn't changed, except that there's this highway running over here and a Shinkansen track running over here. They weren't there when I was a kid. Okay. Well, my elementary school had, from first grade to sixth grade had only 200 students. My classmates were just 20, and 300 students in my junior high from 7th to 9th grade. Right. I I like English. We started learning English in junior high, and I thought I started to dream about going abroad and doing stuff, and so I studied hard, and then I got accepted by high school in Hiroshima City. So I left home and started to live in a dormitory. This is where I learned. This is where I spent 3 years of my high school time. Hiroshima City. It's a big city now with a population of 1 million, over 1 million. But of course, it's the city where the atomic bomb was dropped, and so many tens of thousands of people were killed. Okay, but this is the Memorial Atomic Dome, atomic bomb dome. This is kind of, this was the largest building in those days, so it remained. The most of the structure remained even after the bomb. The bomb exploded right above this building, right? But this building is right here. Okay, so it is a pretty small building compared to other structures, modern structures. Okay, it's a beautiful city with lots of greens and great food, and it's a home of a Hiroshima Cup baseball team, which isn't doing well at the moment, but we hope they'll come back to the championship. Okay, their fans are said to be as enthusiastic as Boston Red Sox fans. They're both red, Red Army. Okay, during the high school, I had an opportunity to go and live in California. Um, I was selected as an exchange student on the AFS program, or American Field Service Program, which is the biggest high school exchange program in the world, started by Americans who drove ambulances during the First World War in Europe. So they wanted to have this exchange of students, and it's grown so much, and thousands of high school students are being exchanged every year. So I went on to this program, and when I heard we couldn't choose a place to go, but I was seconded to California. So I thought, wow, that's great, California beaches. But actually, it was the Crescent City up here, way above north, than say Mickey's hometown, San Diego. Right, it's very far. But the beaches are no good. It's so freezing. But we have lots of trees, redwood trees. This is actually my daughter. I couldn't find the pictures of my days, but my daughter went to spend the time with my host family, and these are daughters of my host brothers. So it's sort of second generation from us. But she really enjoyed spending time with her host sisters. Really, this is the high school I went to. I had some tough time there, getting accustomed to the American high school life and so forth. But eventually, I really enjoyed staying in Crescent City. It was 1 year experience, and I kept crying, when I knew I had to leave. But so this experience really changed my life. Then I went on to the university in Osaka University of Foreign Studies, where everybody studies foreign language, right? And I chose to major in Spanish. These flags indicate my experience, my years with the international flavor. My high school days, my California was, of course, very international, not in Hiroshima, not right here at all, right? But Osaka University of Foreign Studies, and also I got a scholarship from Mexican government, and I went to study in Mexico City for 1 year. So it was really I studied a lot, but it was a very good experience I had to bring up my global mindset. The Mexican customers are so different from Japanese customers. In the first months, I got really frustrated in the way that Mexicans do things. But then I got really accustomed to it. I thought, hey, this is great. Um, um, well, I had some problem when I came back to Japan and I behaved like Mexicans. So I had to sort of fine tune my behavior cross culturally. Then I got out of the university. I got a job at the Sumitomo Bank, which I didn't like very much. So I left after 9 months of joining, and then I got a job through an acquaintance of mine to go to London as a representative of a music production company. It's a recording studios and artist management, right? So they chose me, and then I went to London, and I worked for 18 months there because I was asked to join this Institute of International Education in London by a former high school teacher in Hiroshima. So I just joined them, right? But then, well, I was wondering. Okay, I spent some time in the bank, in the music industry, in the education. What do I want to do? I struggled a lot in thinking of my career, so I decided to pursue my sort of a long-term dream of doing an MBA. I got accepted by Warwick Business School in the middle of the UK. Where students from very many countries got together, and we studied very hard. It's a very good business school, and I studied a lot, and we had lots of drinking opportunities, which I also attended because I didn't want to miss those opportunities. Then I studied a lot, and then I got the diploma, so I got an MBA. Right. Then because I had to borrow so much money to do my MBA from a bank, to repay the loan, I had to get a good a job, well-paid job. So I did some job hunting, and I got accepted by Coopers & Lybrand, which is now PricewaterhouseCoopers after merger. Right. It's a great company, lots of intelligent people, great excitement there, and very huge projects that's very exciting, demanding work, but it trained me a lot. I worked there in London for 3 years, and then I was working in the corporate finance department, where you do mergers and acquisitions and the corporate recovery services. And then the director of the corporate recovery services called me in his office one day and said, "Yasunari, you're Japanese, aren't you?" I said, "Yeah, that's what my passport is, but why?" He said, "Well, we need to do something about Tokyo. It was 1999, 10 years after the bubble economy had burst. And then Japanese economy was totally shattered. So there will be business recovery consulting opportunities there. So he wanted me to do some feasibility study as to how we could develop our business in Japan." So I say, "Oh yeah, that's okay. Yeah, that's great. Well, I'll go." So I went to Tokyo with my British boss and another boss from Melbourne, Australia. We three put together a project team, and we worked for 3 months. I stayed at the hotel for 3 months, and we researched the potential market, and we found that there will be room for recovery consultants, which had not existed at that time. Now there are many business recovery projects all around. Japan Airlines was one of them. It was turned around by external consultants, but at that time there was no such thing. It was always the banks that tried to recover their loans by turning around the company, but they couldn't. Because the magnitude of the recession was so big, banks couldn't look after them any longer, so they had to resort to consultants. So there I was. My director in London said, "Okay, you stay there and keep working there for 2 years." So I got seconded to back to Japan. Then I worked there for 2 years, and then it was time to go back to London. We already had a house. My wife, who's Japanese, she loved the life in London, but just then we had a newly born child who's 22 now, but and he was just a little baby. And then we wondered whether we should raise him as a Japanese or as a British. Right? If we had gone back to Britain, then he would be going to a local school, and his first language will be English. You know, he'll have friends in the local schools, and when he has a brother or sister, their first language will be Japanese. Will be English sooner or later. Okay. Our first language will still be in Japanese, so our home language will be Japanese first. But when he had a brother or sister, he actually has a sister now. But their common language will be English, right? So there will be a difference of mother languages, mother tongues between the parents level and the children level. So we thought, well, probably we should stay in Japan and raise our children as Japanese. So we decided to go back to Osaka, and then I got a job at a company called the Globis Corporation. Globis was still a startup. It was running a small MBA type of business school. It's a private non-degree program, but it was doing a pretty good, pretty good education there. It was started by an entrepreneur of a Harvard Business School alumni, and I like the company a lot. It's fast moving, growing, and it's a very free culture. Do whatever you want to do. Very intelligent people, energetic people all around, and I loved it. It is now one of the largest business schools in the world, where 1,000 MBAs are born every year, right? Certainly the largest in Asia. But when I joined them, it was still a very small company, but it was, it was very exciting to be in an environment like that. And being Globis put together my former careers of, being in educational institute, in consultancy, and also working for a bank even helped, because I started to teach finance as one of the lecturers there. Okay. So I was the general manager of the Osaka office, and I was also a member of the executive board. I worked there for Globis for 8 years, but I kind of felt I was growing out of Globis, so I decided to become independent. Then I set up my own consultancy firm. Although it's a firm, I'm working on my own. I'm not employing anybody, and I work with my external partners. This is my office. I'm buried with books, and, but from the window I can see the Osaka International Airport, not the Kansai one, but the smaller one. But I can see the runway and the airplanes taking off. And I also have this role as an adjunct professor at Kyoto University's School of Management. I teach leadership, marketing, strategy, critical thinking, and strategic in-house projects as a consultant. And also I teach, I taught for 3 years the marketing at international MBA program at the Kyoto University. So these are all sort of internationally related experiences that I've had. But the most international one would be this, the Global Village. It's been such a privilege to be part of this program. I select and send interns from Japan. Rika is one of them. So I think there are some like up to 20 interns from Japan so far. and I go and teach half a day at the program every year. So I spend more time in the airplane than in a classroom teaching, but it's worth the investment. You know? This is where I maintain the sense of global mind by having so many trainees from 50 countries, up to 100 trainees from 50 countries all got together, and they're all proud of their own ethnic culture, but they all have the same mind of being global. So I just want to keep doing it. I hope that COVID-19 will be gone away soon, and you can resume this program. I mean, it's the virtual GV virtual is going on, but I hope this real gathering in person will resume soon. So that's my experience, and how by summing up how I gained the global mindset. This is more like a theoretical sheet, but there are three ways to learn. One is the experiential learning. The second one is social learning, and the third one is formal learning. The experiential learning is unstructured. You learn from experience. You learn by doing stuff. But because it's unstructured, what you learn is left to whatever comes out of the experience you have. It's a great way to learn, but it doesn't always provide what you want. So you need to prepare well beforehand. Try to get the essence of the experience. As for me, you saw what I went through. Retrospectively, I've been blessed with many opportunities to develop my global mindset. And of course, I kind of sensed, oh, this is what I like. So I moved around, and eventually, with hindsight, it's a global. I was lucky to be in that environment. But if being global is what you want to do, you need to pursue the career sort of half intentionally. Social learning is by connecting or getting coached. It's about working with people with multicultural backgrounds, and it has taught me a lot. Right? Different approaches, different attitudes, different behaviors, and different ways of thinking. And many times I didn't agree with them, but many times I learned. More times I learned new thinking, a new paradigm from them. So it was really worth the struggle. My host father in California has always been a great mentor for me, and also learned a lot from my son and daughter. They always surprise me with new cultures, new languages, and it's the same Japanese language, but these from their teenager time, they come up with new languages all the time. So I love talking to them. My daughter is a great teacher for me. And the formal learning, this is sort of cognitive learning. It's about getting knowledge, classroom type of learning, but it helps a lot. I read a lot, as you can see. I read a lot of business books due to my profession of teaching, so that's something I have to read. But at the same time, I enjoy reading other stuff. I'm doing a doctoral course for DBA, Doctor of Business Administration, at the California Baptist University. It's an online program. So I'm writing my dissertation now. So getting new knowledge really elevates my consciousness. And I'm a Christian, so I read the Bible every day. It's a foundation of my belief and paradigm. And based on that, I can see different cultures and different thoughts, sort of, by comparing and contrasting what I believe. So it helps a lot. Okay. So, my recommendation for you is to, based on the three methods of learning, in terms of experience, I'd like you to go abroad, get the COVID aside, and then come to Japan, come visit us. And go into nearby environments where you can have hands-on cross-culture exposure, attend conferences and meetings with global themes, and get to know people from cultures that's not your own. So that's by experience. Socializing, connecting, get a mentor or coach with cultural backgrounds that you want to learn, right? Get to know people from other cultures on SNS and local events like Lehigh JAJAJA, right? And studying, read lots of books. Different cultures and diversity will upgrade you. I recommend this book, right? And watch YouTube on different cultures and enjoy virtual trip around the world, and then apply for Global Village, or at least get involved in one way or another. They have this international gatherings and culture nights, that are open to the people who are part of this program. So I strongly recommend you, and I hope this summer we all get to meet. Okay, thank you very much. I put my Facebook and LinkedIn, the URLs there, so I'll put them also on the chat, so you can get connected with me. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Matsuura-san. That was an amazing presentation. Thank you for going through all of that material in such an efficient manner. I'm going to stop recording now, but for those of you who would like to ask a question, please just raise your hand and we'll start the Q&A portion of this discussion.